If you are holding XRP, we need to talk. Because I think every single one of you has been patiently waiting all throughout time for an XRP move, for the XRP price to finally take off and go crazy. But why hasn't it? And when will it? And when should we give up? Now, I've said it 1,000 times, but I'll say it again. People see this giving up as a negative thing. Oh, I bought at this price and selling it here, it will be a loss. That would be bad. The way I always see it is, think about your current best possibilities. Think about what right now is the best course of action. If you have a loss on an investment, first of all, ask yourself, hey, what did I do to make this into a better looking position? Did you buy the dip to make sure you were never at a loss? Because I've stated it before. If you are at a loss in XRP, you didn't play your cards right, because it's nearly impossible to be when the coin is up like 70% since the start of the year. Okay, but maybe you got in afterwards. Even then, by the way of DCA, dollar cost averaging, you should not be at a loss ever in a bull market for more than like a couple of days. Okay, let's say a couple of weeks or so at a time. If you are, you're playing the game so wrong. But I'm not here to shame anybody for making poor financial decisions or for just not wanting to buy more of an asset that they don't think would do well. And so they're just dwelling on a loss that they bought in for a while back that they just don't believe in anymore. And I'll give you two interesting stories. One, I remember a coin called Encash. And this is a little story from the DustyBC archives. I think this one perhaps was a different coin altogether. Don't know, don't care. But, you know, I bought this coin back in 2018. Perhaps it was even before it got listed on here. I don't know. And I bought the dip of the dip of the dip. Don't ask me what it did. I don't know. It was my bot. That was just buying in deeper and deeper. And we can see where it ended up. Into the ground. And my point was, this is an example where if you're buying the dip constantly, oh, you'll pay the price. And I think I lost only a few Bitcoin on this, so it was not too crazy at the time. Because remember, at the time, a Bitcoin was probably worth like $3,000 or so. So if you lose 5 of them, it's 15,000. Right now, that'd be a slightly different joke. But anyway, my point being is, if we take a look though at the top of the top cryptos, I'm telling you right now that it is almost never the case. It happens every now and then, but it's almost never the case that in a bull market, you can't flip these for some massive profit. I've said it before, coins like ADA right now, they're down a lot from their all-time high in XRP, etc. But so is Dogecoin. Dogecoin is still 80% away from its all-time high. That does not mean that it's not still proper or fine to hold it and potentially buy the dip of if you want to flip it into profit per se. But the story I told you guys earlier was, here comes story number 2. I also in the past was really stuck on whenever I bought something to make sure I never sold it at a loss and to wait for it to flip bullish again, throwing it out the window. I've been investing for so many years, and one important lesson I've learned throughout time is don't dwell too much on the past. Don't think about your purchasing power or whatever you bought in with back in the day. You know, a little bit for tax purposes, but don't dwell on it too much. Think about what could you do with the money you've got right now to get you farthest. So if I put $1,000 in back in whatever year, right now it's only worth $800. Or matter of fact, right now it's worth $1,200. Maybe I think, doesn't matter which of the two. Maybe I think, ooh, it'll probably go to $10,000 in 3 years. Well, is there something I can invest money into that would do a better return, or if not the same, in a shorter time span? And before I used to always think, oh no, I can't sell it because it will probably pump like crazy. Now, if I think, I could probably buy something better, I sell it quick. Except for some of my longer term plays. And that again with XRP is kind of the case where I bought it so long ago that it's kind of like, it's found a way into my wallet, into one of my ledgers, and I've not moved it in so many years. I should look up for fun. I dare now that it's been more than 5 years since I've ever touched a single XRP in the ledger. I have XRP on exchanges that have probably moved already a long time ago, but on my ledger, I don't think I've touched that in at least 5 years. But it could be 6 or 7 years actually at this point. And that's because I kind of saw it a while back as I want some Bitcoin, I want some Ethereum, I want some XRP, and then a couple years after, I think maybe in 2020 or so, maybe it was even 2021. I think it was 2021 that I said, hey, I should also add Solana. So those 4 I just have in a stash for like Who knows? 25 years, I don't give a crap. I just have it there and I'll never touch it, basically. However, on my trading account, I don't have any XRP because I've not bought any recently because I'm in profit anyway. But if I wasn't, I would probably buy it just so I could flip it for profit again on a slight leg up. Point of the video though, Dusty, why are you talking about it again? Because you're saying the same thing. First of all, I have to say the same thing more than once because I was on the opposite side. If somebody told me do this, do that, I'm not a financial advisor, but I'd be like, interesting. Let me move on with my day. But if someone tells me over and over what probably a really good strategy to think about would be, I would probably take it in. And so from my experience here, I'll tell you one such an important thing, which is don't hold one asset. Point number one. Remember that everything is relative. So for example, right now, the most important ratio is XRP versus Bitcoin, not XRP versus the US dollar, because we're always wondering which is better to hold, a Bitcoin or an XRP. Not one of each, you understand it, relative in dollar value, I guess, nominally. Well, it's just relative in dollar terms. You understand what I mean? And as of this point, XRP has gotten to a level again where it's hard to deny it gets more and more interesting because we've dipped so far throughout the last few months that I keep saying XRP is a coin where it does so shitty for a long time if you look at its history, and then all of a sudden starts doing some pretty crazy stuff. And now if you take a look, it's been just months and months of torture, of just slapping everybody around, like actual years it feels like of just being slapped in the face like a maniac. But historically speaking, we don't have the 2017 volume details. We don't have the 2021, I guess, to compare with 2017 here. But back in 2017, you can see it had made a major dip, which still is half of where we are at right now. So it's a lot deeper, but hey. Similarly to back in 2014, and similarly back in 2020, which is basically the levels that we are at right now, where things turned around, and then turned around hard and fast. Once more, ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand that this bottom is whatever, 400. This top right here is 20,000. All right, so understand the relative gains that it made in that time span. A little bit afterwards, as it got to this level again, let's say it was at 600 or so. Where it went to roughly 4,000. And here again, we've gotten to 750. This time around, though, because the middle here had the lawsuit, so back here was only 500% gains. If, and that is the only if it pops off, I think the XRP gains will be immaculate. It's just a matter of if. I'll talk about this more in a separate video. I've had some people come up to me and say, Dusty, what if this bull market is different and we don't have these plus thousands of percent and then minus 80%, but we just have plus 30%, minus 20%, plus 40%, minus 20%, and we just keep going on like that, like the stock market would. It's a possibility. And if that's the case, many of our old altcoins never have the time to shine again because there's never a raging bull market anymore. I don't believe so, though. I personally believe many of our old altcoins will get back into a frenzy at the right time. And the time, for some reason, hasn't been yet. But relatively, like following almost any previous codes, we still have got a few months before it should get worrying. And so again, we get back to question A, which, like I dictated before, is there something better you could hold? That's the ultimate question. That's the only one in my book that really counts, because if we're being honest here, probability-wise, you can call Ripple stupid. You can call their sales stupid. You can call anything, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter to me. Back in 2017, with way less hype, way less excitement around crypto than we have right now, because crypto is in a whole different level. But at that point, XRP, no product, no nothing, just some Coinbase speculation. It got to $3.50, whatever. I think this time around, it's just a matter of if it starts popping off, because it's been at 50 cents for years, it seems, right? It's a stable coin and a pretty damn good one. If you ever thought about parking your money somewhere, it's a pretty good stable coin if you want to move money around the world. Besides the point, perhaps as a lot of the corruption gets unfolded, perhaps as this lawsuit gets thrown out the window, perhaps as this crazy SEC scenario BS lawsuit gets thrown out the window, we get some excitement again. XRP is always a bit late into the cycle. We have said it before on this channel 1,000 times. If you want the most profitable strategy, do this. And I've said it so many times because I always do it. In the bear market, you switch to stables as much as you can without completely messing yourself up. In that sense, I mean, you have some Bitcoin for in case you weren't able to time the bottom or top perfectly. So you keep Bitcoin. As the times get better, you keep Bitcoin and you bid. So you buy some memes and crazy things on the side. That is because memes are usually the first and last of the cycle. Then as time gets better, which is almost now, so it's been a year and a half of where Bitcoin was just the best. And again, look back at videos from almost 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 7 years ago. I've been here for a long time. It's always the same. And every time we talked about this has been the same. And again, if you've been watching for a while, you're not making money. It's just, I think, because you're keeping yourself back from making the choices you should be making because of some underlying idea of, oh, but this might actually be better. When again, even though I'm not your financial advisor, I'm telling you, if you just stick to the strategy that has worked for the last, since Bitcoin got accepted, since the beginning, you'll probably have the best results. And I'll say it again, Bitcoin first. At some point, you switch over to Ethereum. That point seems to be right about now. Then as Ethereum starts going and popping off, you switch to big altcoins and then smaller and smaller. That's always how it works. That's always what the best strategy is for the highest possibility of the highest gains. You will not make the most gains by doing this. The most gains will be made by buying some small altcoin somewhere and praying to the gods. That way you'll probably make the most amount of money, but you will most likely lose. You get me? So this has a very high hit rate of doing well. The others might make you way more, but you'll probably fail because it's freaking hard. Some people get lucky. They turn $1,000 into $1 billion. But for each one of those, 1 million have to lose their whole 1,000 and start over again. Anyway, on the side, I always go for trends. Right now, it seems to be memes. Soon enough, it might be AI again, which was hot a few months ago. We talk about this all the time. Keep up with the trends. Invest in whatever's hot at the time. Memes, we've been saying it for a while. It's popping off right now, so just go with whatever's popping off. Is my game plan, right? And with XRP, if we relate it back, yes, I still believe it will do well. No, I'm not buying more. If it was at a loss, I'd probably buy more to get my position steady. I do believe they've got good plans for it and it could do well over time. But let's be realistic. In crypto, it's 98% about hype. It's about how much enthusiasm is there around your project, product, and the future of it. I think many people like XRP still for the community that it has. But Ripple is a lot less loved than back in the day. So that love needs to come back. Probably it would through the price doing well. But that usually happens later in the cycle, not now. People are comparing XRP to so many stupid altcoins that are really small or just launched. It's not in the same bracket. When you start, and again, I'm just saying this because people are wondering about it. When you start comparing it to things like Cardano. Hey, Cardano, for example, 85% down from its all-time high. Hey, Dogecoin, 80% down from its all-time high. Hey, SHIB, 75% down. AVAX, hey, 75% down. Chainlink, 66% down. Polkadot, 90% down. When you start comparing it to all the major altcoins from the last run, it's really quite normal. It's only when you start looking at some of the newcomer ups that, it's doing pretty bad. But that's because all these major altcoins, just look at it for yourself. All the major altcoins from the previous run have all been performing really, really bad. They've not gotten into the hype yet. They're not at a really good spot. And once more, you could evade these completely if you want to. In if we're talking about a new portfolio, it's not something I would go for first for old altcoins because you only do that when it's the time for it. I would probably go for a lot of small, newer coins that are in the better narratives for the current moment and then perhaps switch later. But again, do I think these coins will still do well? I think so. I think, again, it's going to be really, really hard to fail in a bull market. People are just not that patient. And if you're not, just watch my different videos where I talk about the best things to do at this point, at this time. And there's also a lot of people who are waiting for XRP news, XRP announcements. The reason I don't do that too much anymore is because honestly, guys, we're printing. And when I say that, I mean, I'm literally looking for the next 100x, the next 50x, 20x all day. I don't really care too much about small pieces of news left and right. I care about either crypto news that's really significant, that's really going to change the way I view an investment or the way I want to, just bigger news, or something that could hopefully give us an advantage, give us an edge, etc., etc. Some small product updates here and there. It's not as interesting as before when we're in a bear market. Right now, it's the season for just taking whatever money you have and multiplying it to the freaking 1,000-fold. We're not joking around anymore, guys. That phase is over. Right now, it's time to really sit down, settle in, and get your gains up. So once more, is XRP still proper? I think so. Will I make this video again? Probably, because if you look at the comments, you understand why I say that. People are very misguided when it comes to crypto, when it comes to investing in general, and I hope that by explaining my thoughts and my strategy, what I think is best, people will start thinking about it more and start seeing whatever's happening to the price more as an opportunity rather than a disaster and a saddened thing. If you're at a loss, realize what I just said. If you're just here to hate, get a life. Really? You have nothing better to do. And if you're here for the gain, stick around because I think there's going to be some crazy new projects coming up really, really soon. They're here all day, every day. But the problem is there's so many you have to filter. Right now it seems to be memes though. So if you hate memes, skip it altogether. Perhaps AI, RWA, Bitcoin ecosystem. Restaking is pretty hot. And I guess Deepin is also pretty nice. Those you could go for if memes are not your thing. But I'm just, again, reporting on what I'm seeing. That's about it.